Homer.
Yeah, but Julia Oberhofer doesn't say much.
I know.
I say a lot.
Like when Caleb's gone, I'm like, oh, this man's getting quiet. Julia's gone, I'm like,
He didn't even know you said I did.
okay.
That's not funny.
Oh, you made me.
Did you hear me?
No, I didn't.
What?
What'd you say?
Can you talk louder?
Huh?
What?
Come again?
I'm confused.
Yes.
The F? The little guy's the G, so what do you do with the F? You take the derivative of it, so it's F prime. Of, what do you do with the G? Leave it alone. Leave Packard alone, and then you multiply by Packard prime, right? So that's the chain rule. This specific thing is why you have to understand the chain rule in that form. Otherwise, you can go big guy, little guy, and kind of think about it that way. But in a table, that's not really going to get it done. So now I'm going to start working through this. So H prime of 1 is F prime of G of 1 times G prime of 1. So we gotta do a couple of this one's normal. Like I can just write that down right now. What is G prime of 1? -2. So that's -2, that's no problem. This is separate. This one I got it's like a composite function. So I have to work 2 steps. I'm gonna plug 1 into G. So what is G of 1? 4. So then I basically cross this out and say, okay, that's a 4 now. So now what I'm asked for is what's F prime of 4. So you work through 1, then you use that to work through the next one. Does that make sense? So what's F prime of 4? Oh, yeah, 1. Sorry. So this is 1. What was G prime of 1? 2. -2. So my answer is going to be -2.
So in the table, they always have to give you
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is going to result in a different number than you started with. They have to make sure that's on your table also, or you couldn't do it. Questions on that?
Lucky we didn't have to use those fractions.
I barely could even do the problem because they were just, I could see them in my peripheral vision.
I got scared.
I know. I'm shaking. Try that one. My blood pressure is like way up. Start to sweat.
That is. Same one?
That's the same problem.
No.
No, different.
No. It's almost.
It's closed.
You get to split it.
Positive.
Yeah.
So H prime of X equals F prime of G of X times G prime of X. So H prime of 1 equals F prime of G of 1 times G prime of 1. So what's G of 1?
Please stop 4.
What's F prime of 4? F prime of 4 is -1. G prime of 1, -2. So when you multiply those together, how many of you guys had +2? Questions? Alright, so then they could ask you in a little different way. This seems trickier, but it's really not. No, there's not going to be fractions. Calm down. So that part 1 there is what I'm looking at. Part 2 is the same thing. Do part 2 first. Let's make sure we're good on that. Do part 2. Because I do want you to do one more to convince me, and then I'll go to part 1. can't see. We good or not?
We're good.
Okay. So for part 2, you're going to have f prime of g of 3 times g prime of 3. So what's g of 3? Is 1. Then you want f prime of 1. So negative 1. And then g prime of 3 is a half. And, hold on, somebody have a calculator? Negative 1 times a half. How many have negative half?
Are you sure? That was negative. You do it out.
See what you're doing there. That's funny. That looks scary, right? What if I wrote it like, well, no. Try it. I'm not going to even tell you what it is. Try it. I'll give you a hint in a second. I'm going to give you another hint. We're going to get through this together. Someone got this problem right. I'm kind of at it. That's amazing.
What does the little number after the H mean?
That's just like
problem
it's,
1, problem
yeah, it's just problem 1, problem 2. For a second, I thought you were going to ask me what the 2 up in here meant.
Your calculator.
Okay, hold on. I'll do it. Yeah, it's like,
Very angry with me right there.
he's right.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your big guy here?
Squared.
It's the square. Try it out. What's your little guy?
I read it as f of x.
Yeah, it's back.
F of x inside f of x.
Wait, what is the
Break down. Oh wait, yeah, it is, no, yeah, it's negative 6. Yeah, it's negative 6.
Don't you do
2 times 3 times negative
times?
2 times 3 is negative 1.
Oh, I said 2 times 3 was.
Okay, so if I take the derivative of this, the 2 is the big guy. So that's just like it's more like the algebra stuff we did yesterday almost. So I'm going to bring down that 2. So the big guy's a power. How do I take the derivative of powers? I bring it down. I reduce the power by 1. What do I do with the little guy? Leave it alone, and then what do I multiply by? The derivative of that little guy. Okay. So, what is f of 1? 3. That's just the first power, that's not a prime. And then what is f prime of 1? Negative 1. So negative 6. How many had negative 6? Questions? How many had negative 6 before I gave you that hint? That's good. Okay. So we do more, or are we okay?
Gucci.
We're Gucci. Are we Gucci?
We got
Okay. So you have the rest of your con is due. I think there's like 7 sections by now. Maybe I'm not sure exactly how many, but it's due tonight before midnight. You have the rest of the time now to do